There's a version of you that has won every argument you've ever walked away from. Not out loud, but in the shower, on the drive home, at 2 a.m. staring at the ceiling. That version is sharp, unshaken, devastating. Every comeback arrives on time. Every sentence lands clean. Every truth finally gets spoken. You've rehearsed conversations with people who will never hear them. Scripted confrontations you'll never have. Delivered perfect closing lines to someone who doesn't even know they're in the scene. And the strangest part? You've never told anyone you do this. And there's a reason your brain keeps writing these scripts. Psychologists call them imagined interactions. But here's what matters more than the term. Your brain hates unfinished things. Unsaid words. Unclosed loops. Moments that ended before you were ready. It treats them like open wounds. So it replays them. You think you're preparing. You're actually self-soothing. Your mind evolved to rehearse threats while you're safe, so you'd be ready when they're real. Thousands of years ago, that meant predators. Now it means your manager's tone in that email. Your friend's silence after your message. That comment at dinner you laughed off, but haven't stopped thinking about. The mechanism didn't disappear. It just changed targets. And every time you replay the conversation, you feel a small hit of relief. Like you handled it. Like you said the thing. Even though you didn't. The relief is real. The conversation wasn't. So your brain does it again. Because the loop gives comfort without requiring courage. But this goes deeper than overthinking. Let me show you what this actually looks like. You open Instagram. Your 3 closest friends are out together. Nobody mentioned it. You lock your phone. Unlock it. Lock it again. You tell yourself it's not a big deal. But something tightens in your chest. So the rehearsal starts. Hey, looks fun. Wish I'd known. No, too passive. Why didn't anyone tell me? Too needy. You try being casual, detached, cool. But every version of your voice feels wrong. Then the conversation stops being about dinner and starts being about everything. The birthday you planned that no one matched. The way you're always the one reaching out first. The slow shift you felt but never named. By midnight, you've had the entire conversation. You were honest, heard, understood. You almost feel better. Almost. Monday comes. Someone sends a meme. You laugh, react, and bury the whole thing between, it's not a big deal, and I don't want to make it one. But here's what most people get wrong. Most people think the rehearsal is preparation. It isn't. Preparation moves you forward. Rehearsal keeps you frozen. You're not getting ready to speak. You're trying to rewrite a moment that already passed. Every imagined conversation is a quiet attempt to go back in time, to the exact second you swallowed something true, and say it differently. But here's the part no one tells you. You didn't stay silent because you didn't know what to say. You stayed silent because somewhere along the way, you learned that honesty costs. Costs approval, costs belonging, costs stability, costs love. So your brain made a deal. If I can't say it out loud, I'll say it in here. And the rehearsal became the compromise. You think you're scripting a conversation. You're scripting a braver version of yourself. A version who doesn't flinch. Who doesn't over-explain. Who doesn't edit every sentence for likability. And that's exactly why you keep replaying it. Because you're not chasing the perfect words. You're chasing the version of you who can survive the reaction. But strength doesn't come before truth. It comes after it. Perfection is just fear in professional clothing. And the conversations you rehearse the most? They're never random. They're tied to the places where you feel the smallest. The relationships where you overfunction, the rooms where you shrink to fit, the dynamics where your role was assigned before you understood you could decline it. This was never about overthinking. It was about risk. The real question was never, what should I say? It was, what happens to me if I do? So what do you actually do with this? This isn't about stopping the rehearsal. It's about listening to it. Next time you catch yourself mid-argument with someone who isn't there, pause. Ask yourself, what did I not say? And then ask, what was I afraid would happen if I did? Because the rehearsal isn't about the surface conversation. It's about the boundary you didn't draw, the need you didn't express, the truth you edited out in real time. And notice something else. Who do you become in the rehearsal? Confident, clear, unedited. That version isn't fake. That's you without fear filtering every sentence. The rehearsal isn't the lie. The silence was. You don't have to send the message. You don't have to deliver the speech. But you do have to stop pretending the urge is meaningless. It's pointing somewhere. And the day you stop needing the rehearsal isn't the day you get braver. It's the day you stop negotiating your own voice. That voice in your head at 2 a.m., it was never trying to win. It was trying to be heard. Every imagined conversation was your mind reaching for honesty without risking consequence. Close enough to truth to feel relief. Far enough from reality to stay safe. But safe and heard are not the same thing. And the version of you whispering those perfect lines in the dark, that isn't your anxiety. That isn't overthinking. That's the part of you that still believes you have something worth saying.